we're just filling in the angles in degrees and radians in this circle. So we started with our quadrantal angles at 0, 90, 180, and 270. And then the other angles drawn in here are relating to the rules we learned in a previous math class about 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90 triangles. So we're going in those increments, 30, 45, 60. Then we have to keep those increments up around the whole circle. So you can see there's a 30-degree space here, 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 but then these are 15-degree spaces. Let's keep going and finishing in these degrees. So what will be past 180? What's your number? 210, isn't it? 210. Yeah, no, you're good. Okay, then we add 15. Then we're going to add another 15. And then add 30, takes us to 270. And then add 30. And then add 15. And then add 15 again. And that should leave us with a 30-degree space there at the end. Okay, so then, radians. You ready for this? These are the harder ones. I'm going to make it so we can see this a little easier. We'll just do like the top half first, and we'll go to one. Okay, so for radians, we have these other lines. So we start at 0 radians, and then when we go all the way around the circle, it's at 2 pi, because we have 2 pi all the way around, right? So let's do halfway. Halfway across is just pi, because all the way across is 2 pi. My 10-year-old's birthday is on 6/28, June 28th, and he grew up before he even had any idea what pi was, with the idea that his birthday is on 2 pi. And so, like, for one of his birthdays, when he was like 3, I said, "What kind of cake do you want?" He said, "I want 2 pies for my birthday." Sorry. Yes, I'm raising nerds. Perfect. So then half of pi is pi halves. Pi divided by 2. Now, if you want to, you can try actually putting them on the lines, or I kind of just use that line as a fraction bar. Okay, so let's do this with fractions. Now that we know that that's pi halves, what's half of pi halves? Pi fourths. So that's 45 degrees, because that's half of 90. Okay? Now, 30 degrees would be a third of 90. So if we take pi halves and we split it in thirds, that would be multiplying pi halves by 1/3. That would be, actually, are you sure? It's already pi halves, 90 degrees. And 30 is a third of that. So it would be pi halves times 1/3. Yes. So this is where your brain starts to be confused. 30 degrees is pi over 6, but 60 degrees is pi over 3. How hard do you think it is to keep those straight sometimes? It happens. You just gotta work at it and just, you gotta know that 30 degrees is pi 6 and 60 degrees is pi 10. That's a really important distinction to memorize. Just know it's opposite of what your brain wants it to be. The fractions are smaller, right? So this fraction with the bigger number is a smaller fraction. This one with a smaller number is a larger fraction. Okay, so now that we know those, we can kind of count around with them. Let's do our pi fourths first. So if we go around the circle of pi fourth increments, we have 1 pi fourths and then 2 pi fourths. We don't call it 2 pi fourths though, because 2 fourths is 1/2. Call it pi halves. Then if we go another 45 degrees, that's 3 pi fourths. We can't reduce that one. That's our answer. 3 pi fourths. Then if we go another pi fourths, we have 4 pi fourths. Tell me about the fraction 4 over 4. 1 pi. Okay? So then, we're going to keep going around. So that was 4 pi fourths, so go to our next 45 degree, which would be 5 pi fourths. The next one, at 270, would be 6 pi fourths. However, tell me about the fraction 6 fourths. Yeah. 3 pi halves. Yeah. Okay. Then we go to our next pi fourths increment, 30 or 45 degrees. So that was 6 pi fourths. This was going to be 7 pi. And then back to the beginning, it would be 8 pi fourths. And what's 8 fourths? 2 pi. Why am I taking the time to go through these fractions with you instead of just having you copy them down? You have to memorize this. So I don't know about you, but sometimes when I memorize things, I have to just have patterns that I can recreate rather than actually just blatantly memorize it. So the fact of the matter is, if your brain blanks out on your memorization of this chart, you could theoretically recreate it using the fractions, right? That's why I'm having you help me do that process. Okay, let's go back to our 30-degree increments. So we have 0 and we have 30, which is pi 6. And we have 60, which is technically 2 pi 6, correct? Because it would be 2 30-degree angles. But 2 pi 6 reduces to 3 pi halves. 2 pi thirds. Wait, I'm losing it. Pi thirds. I keep saying the wrong thing, and you today was going to be rough. Okay, so 1 pi 6, 2 pi 6 is pi thirds. 3 pi 6, 3 through 6, 1 half. 4 pi 6, 2 pi 6. That's the one that is. Remember, I'm counting sixths. So that one was actually 4 pi 6. And this one is 5 pi 6. This one is 6 pi 6. 6 over 6 is 1. The next one would be 7 pi 6. We can't reduce that. That's the one we talked about earlier at the beginning of class. And you know exactly where it is. And then we have 8 pi 6. So do that fraction math in the tens with me. 8 sixths. 4 pi thirds. And then, so that was 8. The next one will be 9 pi 6. 9 sixths is 3 halves, so that matches what we already have. And then we would have 10 sixths. 10 over 6 reduces to 5 thirds. Wait, 6, 6. I lost for 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 pi over 6. And then the last one would be 12 pi over 6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So you're back down to 2.